Army Tactical Missile System, or ATACMS, is one of the most important things that Ukraine has asked for in a long time and has got it now. This is because of its long range, which lets Russia hit targets that are too far away to be easily reached. The company that makes the ATACMS says it's a long-range guided missile with a range of about 300 kilometers, which is about 190 miles. It's been used by the United States of America since 1991. The ATACMS can be fired from HIMARS launchers, which are American-made artillery devices that are added to trucks. Ukraine already has HIMARS and has been using them for about a year. However, their shorter-range ammo only lets them launch attacks 50 miles away. It's possible for a HIMARS launcher to fire 6 of the shorter-range rockets at once, which is the same as firing one ATACMS. The ATACMS can be fired using shoot-and-scoot strategies because it's placed on a vehicle and can move around. In this plan, one round is fired and then the weapon goes on before the other player can fire back. A warhead called the WDU-18 is used by ATACMS. This weapon has the power to make a blast about the same size as 500 pounds of TNT. This is exact and deadly at the same time. Jim Gribshaw, a director of Lockheed Martin, says that the missile's exact accuracy helps keep other people from getting hurt. These words were used to talk about the plane. According to different U.S. sources, the U.S. has secretly sent long-range ATACMS missiles to Ukraine in the past few weeks. Thanks to this, Ukraine now has a big new tool that could help its forces attack new Russian targets they couldn't reach before. Photos of the submunitions inside the missiles that were found in Ukraine started going around on social media, which led to the proof. U.S. sources told CNN that Ukraine has already used the ATACMS, including versions with a range of up to 186 miles, to attack Russia's Berdyansk and Luhansk airfields in eastern Ukraine. A tweet from the Ukrainian military on Tuesday said that the operation damaged several Russian helicopters, a storage area for ammunition, and an air defense launcher. It wasn't clear from the remarks, though, whether the attack used ATACMS or not. In his daily speech, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky talked about the ATACMS and thanked the U.S. for putting the agreements they made into action. "This is my way of saying thank you to the United States of America. Right now, our deals with President Biden are being put into action." Zelensky says they're being implemented very accurately, and the ATACMS have demonstrated their worth over time. In a statement released on Tuesday, Adrian Watson, a spokesperson for the National Security Council, confirmed that the United States recently provided Ukraine with a type of ATACMS capable of ranging out to 165 kilometers as part of our ongoing support for the people of Ukraine as they defend their territory against Russia's brutal invasion. "We're sure that this will greatly improve the Ukraine military's abilities on the ground without putting our own ready armed forces at risk." The version of the missiles the U.S. gave to Ukraine that carry cluster munitions instead of single warheads is not in the Pentagon stockpiles that they would use if the U.S. got involved in a direct war, so there are no worries that sending these missiles would make the U.S. military less ready. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan first asked the National Security Council to help in the middle of July, when it looked like Ukraine's counteroffensive was moving more slowly than expected. A government source said that the NSC was asked to work with the Pentagon to make an updated memo on ATACMS options that looked at how they might affect the readiness of the U.S. military. According to the person, the missiles were sent recently. In the middle of September, President Biden gave his approval for the missiles to be sent. When Biden met Zelensky at the White House on September 21st, he told Zelensky that he was going to send his model of the ATACMS, which is also known as APAM, which means anti-personnel, anti-material. A source said that they planned to surprise the Russians, especially since there had been months of public back and forth about whether Biden would agree to hand over the weapons. The United States chose to send them in secret because they wanted to surprise them. The source said that the Russians know how far the missiles can reach, and the U.S. was worried that they would move bases and weapons out of range before the missiles could be fired. It's true that the United States has recently sent weapons in the past. In August 2022, the U.S. Department of Defense revealed that it had sent HARM anti-radiation missiles to Ukraine without telling them ahead of time. To be exact, the United States of America often sends large amounts of weapons to Ukraine. This includes the Patriot air defense systems that were sent out last year and the cluster bombs that are being sent out this year. Since a few weeks ago, many people have asked Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin what the current status of the system is. Austin replied that the U.S. has nothing to announce. The government leaders said that this choice of words was planned. When asked about the ATACMS, the Pentagon said that all questions would be sent to the Ukrainian armed forces. CNN said in a previous story that talks about sending the systems had sped up a lot in the previous month. At one point, U.S. officials were hesitant to send the long-range surface-to-surface guided missiles because they were afraid the fight might get worse. It's possible that these missiles could be shot at Russia itself. Officials say this fear has gone down a lot in the last few months because Ukraine has shown that it won't use other weapons that the U.S. gave it to attack Russian land. At the time, Andriy Yermak, who was the chief of staff for Ukrainian President Zelensky, said, "When we talk about long-range missiles for Ukraine, it's not just a whim, it's a real need." This was said by Zelensky while he was in Washington, D.C. in September. ATACMS was asked for again by Zelensky during the meeting. This has a clear link to how well the Army works on the battlefield, as well as to the lives of military personnel and our progress as a whole. The U.S. released a new aid package for Ukraine while Zelensky was there. ATACMS was not in this package. Although when asked again about the weapons earlier this month, President Biden told reporters, "I've spoken with Zelensky and everything he's asked for, we've worked out." The long-range, small-diameter bomb that's fired from the ground can go as far as 93 miles, which is the farthest range of U.S. weapons currently sent to Ukraine. The country also has long-range Storm Shadow missiles, which were given to it by the UK and can reach up to 155 miles away. Guided Multiple Launch Rocket System, or GMLRS, missiles are already used by Ukraine. They're fired from HIMARS rocket launchers, which are the same type of vehicle used to fire the ATACMS missiles. In an earlier talk with Insider, retired U.S. General Ben Hodges said that the ATACMS would allow Ukraine to attack weak spots behind enemy lines. Some of these targets are ammo stores and command stations where top officials live. People in Ukraine have been using their own drones and missiles to attack Russian land, even though they've told their supporters like the U.S. that they won't use weapons that were given to them. Ukraine said that the HIMARS program would change the game. It's helped Ukrainian troops move around on the battlefield because it's light and easy to move. The M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket Kit is by far the most up-to-date thing that Washington has sent to Kiev in terms of technology. It's small and light, and it has wheels, which make it easier to move around on the battlefield. Because the system was such a big threat to Moscow's plans, Sergei Shoigu, the Russian defense minister, told commanders that getting rid of the system should be their first concern. What do you think about the deadly ATACMS? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching this video.